In last lecture, we started working on a pagination functionality. In this lecture, we'll continue and we'll create a button to load more blocks. So let's start opening our coding editors. And let's see index.js in our pages folder. And let's create here a button under the row where we are displaying pages to load more blocks. Remember, we are keeping here variables is loading more, is reaching end, and load more. Okay, we are getting from useGetBlocks pages, and we can use them when we will provide a button. Okay, so when we will click a button, we would like to load more data, and I will explain you how we are getting these values here. Okay, so first, under the row, simple button, so just write here button, or actually we can use a button from React Bootstrap. So simply up here in the row, I will import the button. All right, under the row, I will provide a button like this. All right, and we'll provide here a couple of props. Okay, so first I will choose here a variant of this button. You can see all of the variants in the React Bootstrap documentation if you are interested. So React Bootstrap and all of the buttons, right? So components, buttons, and you will find their variants. You can use, for example, I would like to use the secondary button here, or maybe blue one would be better, or the secondary here. So variant outline secondary. Okay, so I'll simply copy it. All right, let's get back. And let's get here variant outline secondary, and we'll display here for now the text load more. All right, let's save this. Let's go back to our browsers. And let's see result. Okay, so we are displaying it on the left side. Maybe we would like to change the size of this button to be large. Okay, that should be simple. Alright, you simply need to provide here a size prop. Okay, and the size will be LG for a large. Okay, so we'll make it more space and a size. And this will be simply LG for a large. Save this. Back here, and you will see that we are displaying now load more and it's larger button. Maybe you want to style it in the middle, so simply we can do this. We can wrap it inside of a div. All right, like this, and move it to the right side, and I will write here a style of this div, and I will provide here inline styling, and this can be text aligned to a center. Okay, so simply text align together, and let's write here center. Now it should be styled in the middle, so load more is now in the middle. All right, so now we can use here variables. Is reaching end, is loading more. So is loading more is executed whenever you are loading more data. So in the pagination, for example, when we are loading here more blocks, when we are making requests, we are loading more blocks. Is loading more will be true in this case. When we already have a data, is loading more will be false. Is reaching end is a true or false depending if we already loaded all of the data. If we have still some data to load, is reaching end will be false. If we already loaded all of the data, so there is no data to load anymore, then is reaching end will be true. Okay, and all of this is dependent on the results of our function useGetBlocks. Okay, so if useGetBlocks will fetch some data, we will expect that we can still have more data. But if in the case our useGetBlocks will get a data, and this will be empty array, so we will not get any data any longer, there are no data to load any longer, then is reaching end will be true. Okay, maybe I will write here a comment so you know. Okay, so load more to load more data. Okay, and this will load more will execute this callback function. Okay, so this callback function we are providing here, it will re-execute this function, load more data. Okay, is loading more whenever is true whenever we are making requests to load data or to fetch data. All right, and is reaching end is true when we loaded all of the data. Data is empty. or is empty array. Empty array. Okay, load more to load more data. We are making again a request, so the data is loading more is true whenever we are making a request to fetch the data, and is reaching end is true when we loaded all of the data. Data is empty. We have an empty array in, and then is reaching end, it will be true. All right, so what we want to do when we are clicking on this button, let's provide here on click event. All right, whenever we are clicking this button, we would like to load more data. Okay, so simply we'll provide here load more. This button will be disabled in some cases, so I'll write here disabled, and this button will be disabled when is reaching end and we are loading more. So I'll write here is reaching end or is loading more. So if some of these two values will be true, then this button will be disabled, because we don't want to enable this button when we are in a process of loading data or we already loaded all of the data. And now text will display in this button. I will write here double ternary operation, and I will check here is loading more. So if is loading more is true, question mark, then display me string 3 dots. Okay, so we are indicator that we are loading more data. Otherwise, check me if we are reaching end. So if we are reaching end is reaching end, question mark. Then let's say if this is true, then return me string no more blocks, or all of the blocks have been loaded, or no more blocks to load, no more blocks. Okay, or otherwise if is reaching end is false, then display me more blocks. Like this. Okay, so if we are loading more data, so is loading more is true, then display me 3 dots. Otherwise, if it's loading more is false, then check for is reaching end. And if it is reaching end is true, so we loaded all of the data, display no more blocks. Otherwise, display more blocks inside of this button. All right, guys, let's save this now. Let's go back to our browsers. All right, we are displaying here more blocks, and let's see what will happen when I will click here to more blocks. Okay, so let's see network tab. Let's click here more blocks, and you will see that we are making a request. We are making a request to fetch more blocks. Okay, but of course we are not paginating these blocks yet, because we need to pass some specific parameters to our function useGetBlocks. Okay, but for now you can see whenever I will click here more blocks, our function is re-executed, not the second time because it's cached, and the second time it will be not executed. Okay, it will be executed maybe after some time, but you can see we are definitely executing this function. And actually you can see here I'm appending here all of these blocks here. Okay, so I'm loading more blocks, but I'm all the time fetching the same blocks, so I'm appending here the same 3 blocks. Okay, so that's how it should work, but of course we should load here the different 3 blocks, okay, from another page, not the same ones. Okay, so this is working, and just to show you what we are getting here, I will write here, in a pagination I will write here console log, and for example I will console log here offset. So you can see what we are getting as an offset. Offset should be by default null here, or undefined. Whenever we are returning, we will return here from this function null, it will be null. Okay, so let's see what will happen. Let's inspect this, let's refresh this page. Okay, you can see offset is initially null, but when I will load here more data, it will be 0. Okay, so it's 0, 0, 0, 0. So whatever I am returning from here, this will get passed into an offset of the next loading. Okay, so this offset of this callback function will be used as an offset of the next loading of the data. So that's why we are getting here first null, because offset is initially null. We would like to fetch the initial set of the data, first 3 data, and then we would like to fetch the offset we are returning from here, from this function. So we need to compute offset here. So we'll write our command to do compute offset here. All right, that will be first thing, and then I would like to show you how we are calling this function. Okay, so I'll write here debugger. Okay, let's save this. Let's save this. Where I am, I somehow closed it. Okay, so debugger here. we can remove this console log here, and let's go back to our browsers. Okay, I will skip this initial load here. I will close it. I will refresh the page, so we are on the initial set of the data. I will inspect the page, and whenever I will click here, load more blocks, you will see this function will be executed, and we are loading more data, and we are returning new sets of the data. Okay, but of course, I'm always returning the same data because I'm providing here the same initial data. I'm not providing here any other offset. So we need to pass here offset. That's gonna be the for the next lecture, but you can see we are getting here offset in this case of a null. That's initial offset, but the next time I will call this, it is executed multiple times, and I will call it the next time, you will see offset will be 0. So this is the offset of our function. We have returned here, this return 0. We'll get here to the offset. Now I can fetch here another initial data. And what I need to do in the end to fetch the other data, I need to get this offset I'm getting here, and I need to pass it to useGetBlocks, and I need to fetch the different data. Okay, guys, so I hope now it's more clear what's happening here, and I hope that these functions, these variables, they are making sense to you. If not, please contact me in the Q&A section. I will try to provide you more explanation, but it's simply how it works. Alright guys, so let's continue in the next lecture. We'll provide the offset into a pagination, and we'll try to load the new data. So guys, that should be it, and I hope to see you in the next one.